Hello, everyone. Happy noon hour. I am Lakin Coleman with the New Growth Women's Business Center, and we are excited to have Pamela Hernandez with the Better Business Bureau back. This is our third webinar with her and the final webinar of our BBB series, and we thank her for the others that she has done, as well as the one that we're about to learn with her during. The New Growth Women's Business Center serves 13 counties in the state of Missouri, as well as 15 in Kansas. We offer business counseling, credit counseling, peer-to-peer networking, access to capital, mentor and leadership, as well as business training. And our contact information is at the bottom of the screen. If you guys ever need anything, feel free to reach out to us. Questions are encouraged throughout this webinar, and Pamela and I will be monitoring that chat. So please use the question and answer or the chat section on the Zoom, and we will get those addressed as quickly as possible or at the end for sure. We are funded by the SBA, and so therefore we thank them for making this possible. And without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Miss Pamela and stop sharing my screen.
Well, thank you. Certainly appreciate the opportunity doing these talks, partnering with the New Growth Women's Business Center. Just appreciate the opportunity to share. That is such a big part of what we do at Better Business Bureau is the education and the outreach. And that's certainly a big part of my job. That is most of my job. And today we're going to talk about let's say a pretty popular topic here. Let me go ahead and get these slides up. Talking about debt assistance, debt consolidation, credit repair, and financial scams. And talking about in terms of the predatory practices, the things you need to watch out for if you're looking to work on repairing your credit, if you're wanting to get your financial house in order. I know as a former small business owner myself, that was something that I did before I started my business to make sure I had all of my financial ducks in a row. And then being careful if you're looking to grow your business. Being on the lookout for, again, financial scams or people that don't have your best interest at heart as you're trying to obtain credit, repair your credit, or find funds to help grow your business. So this is really all aligns with our mission. We are a nonprofit dedicated to be the leader in advancing marketplace trust. That is what we are here to do. We've been doing it for over 100 years. In fact, our BBB, which our BBB serves all of Southwest Missouri, Eastern Missouri, and Southern Illinois, started in St. Louis in 1917. I am the regional director for Southwest Missouri, so our county overlap is pretty good when it comes to the New Growth Women's Business Center. But certainly if you're in a different county that I don't serve, one of my counterparts, I'm sure, is here to help you, or another BBB, because there are 93 independently incorporated BBBs across the country. So if you're not in Missouri, there is a BBB in Kansas that is there to help you. We are funded by our accredited businesses that believe in our mission. They want to differentiate themselves. They want to stand out and show that they do have ethical business practices. And they agree to our standards for trust. That is part of being BBB accredited, as well as that additional vetting that we do. And their dues help fund us, all the activities that we do in the community. And we provide that way all of our consumer services for free. So in 2023, there were 21 million instances of service for our BBB, for those counties that I just showed on that map. That is providing those BBB business profiles. So if you are looking for assistance for finding somebody to help with, again, credit repair, debt consolidation, you can go research companies at bbb.org. Certainly, if you have a business, we want you to have a profile. It does not cost you anything. Accreditation is dues-based service, but we want any business we know about, any business in our community, to have a BBB business profile. Those dues, again, fund the community outreach. So I go out and do these kinds of talks in our libraries. I talk to seniors. I am working with the media to help keep our community safe, to educate people, to help them find brands, businesses, charities that they can trust, and just feel confident in buying partnership decisions. Now, another thing that's part of our free consumer services, and that's going to lead into our conversation today, are investigations. And when I say investigations, that's not necessarily us going out and investigating or inspecting businesses. That's not what we do. But one of the things we do is in partnering with four of the other BBBs in the United States, we do large scale investigative studies based on the information that consumers provide to us. So whether that's consumer reviews, whether that's a number of complaints, whether that's reports to BBB scam trackers, we do these large scale investigations to bring more information or more attention to a growing issue or a subject of broad consumer interest, something that is affecting a lot of consumers. And the information that we're going to talk about today comes directly, or from the most of it comes directly from one of our recent investigative studies. So in August of 2023, we did an international investigative study on the credit repair and the debt relief industry. And the headline says it all. Credit repair and debt relief companies fail to deliver on big promises. Between 2020 all the way up to June 2023, BBB received 12,700 complaints and negative reviews about debt consolidation companies, debt relief companies, debt settlement companies, and credit repair companies, as well as about 1,600 reports to BBB Scam Tracker. And when we get into talking about some of these companies and scams, it is a fine line, but want to try to differentiate between companies who are they're indeed established businesses. They have maybe a physical location, they have staff, they're running as a business, but their business practices may not be transparent and ethical. And again, some may say predatory, as opposed to scams, people who are simply out to steal your money. They're out to steal your information for identity theft. They are not even trying to establish any sort of semblance of a business other than whatever it takes to get your information and your money. So it can be a fine line, but we're going to differentiate a little bit between those two and talk about some things that you need to be aware of when you're thinking about getting some help with credit repair, debt consolidation, and those kinds of things. So let's start by talking about debt relief. That is also known as debt negotiation or debt settlement. So these are companies who are offering to negotiate on a consumer's behalf to reduce their total debt. And they're making claims that they can help a consumer reduce their debt load. And in some cases, a legitimate company can do that. However, it's not a quick process. Certainly when it's a unethical, unscrupulous business, it is a years-long process because they're taking a lot of fees for this service. So with these types of companies, they cannot, by law, take fees before they provide you services. So what happens with a lot of these debt negotiation or debt settlement companies is they establish something similar to an escrow account. And they ask that you make a payment, you the consumer, into that account, and they're going to use that account to make payments on these debts that they've negotiated for you. When unfortunately, the reality is if they are making payments to these companies, it's a very small amount, and they also start taking their fees out of that escrow-like account that you've been making your payments to. So a couple of red flags when you're looking for a company, when you're thinking about this, is anybody who tries to convince you to stop paying your debts before you make a settlement, before you negotiate. Red flag, you don't want to go into default. That is not necessary to negotiate any kind of debt or settlement. And if they promise you, they make some sort of guarantee that they can settle with any creditor. That is another red flag. No one can promise you that they can make a creditor negotiate your debt or settle your debt. So anybody making those big promises, anybody that's asking you to do something that there's no reason to do, there's no reason to stop paying if you're currently able to pay, those are red flags. So here's an example situation. So this was a complaint filed by a consumer in Springfield, Missouri in 2021 against a company that they found who said that they could negotiate payment terms and help them manage their credit card debt. So they begin to make payments to that escrow-like account, paying almost, it's really close to $5,000. They thought that that would be mostly going to their creditors. However, what ended up happening is a good chunk went to the fees, including a legal service subscription fee. So this automatic fee that they were charging them for the service of this negotiation. And in the end, they weren't getting their debts paid off. It only made it worse, and it really just left a mess that they had to work on cleaning up on their own. So when it comes to trying to do some sort of negotiation or settlement, you can call your debt holders directly. You don't need a third party to negotiate with you. Call, explain the situation, see if you can get a change in the length of the loan, make a settlement if you're willing to pay in full. These are all things you can ask a debt holder directly. It's also important if you're looking for a search because maybe you do want some assistance. Be wary of anyone claiming to be with a government agency. Unfortunately, we hear this quite a bit when folks want to consolidate or get help with student debt, that they have gotten calls from someone claiming to be something that sounds like it's government affiliated. So if you're looking to negotiate on student loan debt, call your loan servicing company directly. Call the number on your statement, call the number that you know to be true, and never pay an upfront fee. Again, these kinds of companies cannot charge you upfront for services. So if anybody starts asking for a fee to even begin the process, walk away, look for another company. Now, there are also companies who offer debt consolidation. So they're basically another lender. Debt consolidation is where you combine multiple debts into one loan, and that is not necessarily a bad idea. If you can get a lower interest rate or somehow change your payment, you could save money certainly in the long run. A 0% credit card can be helpful for some folks to consolidate debt. The problem is a lot of debt consolidation, because they're typically unsecured or a 0% credit card, usually require good credit. So if someone is already challenged in their credit, maybe has a low credit score, some issues, they might go out looking for somebody who's willing to work for them, and unfortunately can find one of these less than trustworthy companies trying to charge them a lot of money or get them to do things, for example, like add debts they didn't want to consolidate. And consumers do tell us about that. They find these companies online and they pull the credit, which somebody's going to do if they're going to give you a loan. And then they start trying to add debts in other than what the consumer originally wanted to consolidate, which can actually leave you worse off. It can create a loan that is more than what you originally wanted, make a payment that's bigger than what you originally wanted, or remove certain protections. So we'll go back to student loans, for example. Student loans are treated a little bit differently than other debts, and you do have more opportunity for negotiation. So you could lose some of those protections if you consolidate them into, say, just a regular unsecured loan or line of credit. So really be wary of anybody that puts high pressure, like they're really trying to sell you something and they're downplaying or even trying to hide the fees. When you get a loan, those fees need to be very explicitly lined out in black and white for you to see. Anybody who is trying to hide that from you, again, that is a big red flag that something is not right. Again, avoid adding debt that you don't need to consolidate. Before you start looking for any kind of debt consolidation loan, before you start talking to your lender, which your own bank, your own credit card company, again, those are great places to start. Know what it is you need to consolidate and know all the terms, any fees. And if you've got that 0% interest rate, when does it expire? And is there a backdating of the interest when that 0% APR expires? Will you end up playing catch up if you don't pay the debt off in full by the time that introductory rate, that 0% rate expires? So ask those questions, make sure you get all of the fees and terms in writing. Then there are credit repair companies. So when it comes to credit repair, those are companies who, for a fee, say that they'll review your credit for issues and then reach out to the credit bureaus on your behalf to fix the errors. Now, credit repair companies can perhaps help if there's a legitimate mistake. However, they can't remove negative items on your credit that are legitimate. If you missed a payment, they can't remove that. If you have a charge off, they can't remove that. Real credit repair takes time. There are no quick fixes. Unpaid debts issues can fall off your credit report. It takes 7 years. It takes time to improve your credit score. If anybody is promising you a quick credit score, I've talked to people, for example, at Consumer Credit Counseling Service about companies claiming that they have these little hacks or disputes or things that they can do that might temporarily boost a score, but it's not legitimate. It's not long lasting. It's not real credit repair. So red flags, anybody who's not providing that holistic experience when they look at your credit, really sitting down and looking at your budget, looking at what's kind of happened with your credit history, that's a big red flag if somebody's, again, promising you some quick fixes without giving you a holistic solution. And anybody that claims they guarantee they can improve your credit score, nobody can do that. Nobody can guarantee that for you. And anyone making big promises about the types of issues that they can fix, that is another red flag that you're dealing with a less than trustworthy company. So here is a report or a complaint that was filed by a consumer in Rolla, Missouri. And this consumer found a company who said that they would negotiate to delete a line on the credit report if the debt was paid. So the consumer paid the debt and it shows 0, which is what will happen when you pay a debt or pay something off on your credit report. But that item, a collection, a past due, is still going to show. It's just going to show as 0. And the company, again, made a promise that they couldn't keep. So they still had that past due information, that debt on their credit report. And the company actually put erroneous addresses, fake addresses, false addresses, incorrect addresses on their credit report. And so the consumer now has to work with the credit bureau anyway to fix up the mess. So I'm sure they lost money, they didn't get what they were promised, and they have the headache of now trying to clean up these errors. So consumers should be, in my opinion, checking their credit annually anyway. And that is something that you can do for free. Still can do that for free at annualcreditreport.com. And you can get all 3 of the major credit bureaus. And that's a great way to just stay on top of what is on your credit report. If there is a legitimate mistake, then you can reach out to the credit bureaus to try to correct that mistake. Because if it is a mistake that could be impacting your credit score, you certainly want to get that information taken care of. So you as a consumer can do that. You as a consumer can reach out to the credit bureau. Again, you do not need a third party to do that for you. So checking your credit, annualcreditreport.com is a place where you can do that for free. If you by chance have worked with one of these companies, you just want to make sure, and when I say one of these companies, I mean one of the less than trustworthy companies, maybe you've had some challenges, make sure you review bank and credit card statements for reoccurring charges. Some of these companies, consumers have told us they end up being charged for reoccurring credit monitoring service that they didn't realize they were signing up for. So if you see any charges that you don't recognize, that you didn't authorize, make sure that you're reporting those to your bank, your credit card company. And do a search before you decide to get help, because you might need help navigating some of these issues. Do a search for nonprofits in your area who offer free or discounted services. New Growth Women's Business Center offers some assistance. Consumer Credit Counseling Service They are in Springfield where I am. They are also BBB accredited. They provide these services. I did a short version of this talk with a member of CCCS on Tuesday. And for a holistic going through your credit report, looking at everything for you or with you, it's about $30. So very affordable. And then they have some other free services as well. So just doing a search for any nonprofits, assistants that are out there to help you navigate some of these issues on your credit. So before we transition into talking, kind of crossing that gray line into talking about things that are truly scams versus businesses with some less than trustworthy practices, some questionable practices, I want to stop and see if we had any questions. Let me see if there's anything in the Q&A or chat, and certainly welcome anybody who has a question. Yes, New Growth Women's Business Center credit counseling services free of charge. So again, a couple of great resources around our community where you can get this help at no cost. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close that chat. Just going to double check the Q&A again.
I was about to check it for you. I don't see anything else.
That's okay. I appreciate it. So, and it certainly will have some time for questions at the end, but I thought this was a good place to pause before we move into, as I said, the truly the scams, the people that they are really just out to take advantage again of your money, get your personal information. And that is something we track. We keep track of scams. We take scam reports from consumers. Big part of my work at BBB is educating consumers about scams and how to avoid them. And we are very much dependent on when folks encounter a scam that they let us know. That's how we get most of our data. And every year we look at the reports to BBB Scam Tracker and we issue something called the BBB Scam Tracker Risk Report. And so we have finally our data. It took us a little bit to go through all that data for 2023 to really understand the types of scams that are risky, who they're risky to, what are the red flags, how have things changed, and use this throughout the year to, again, educate our communities, keep our communities safe, use this as a teaching tool. So what we're seeing on the screen are the top 10 riskiest scams for 2023. Now you'll notice at number 1, I don't have it circled, but we are going to talk a little bit about investment cryptocurrency scams. Move to the number 1 spot, I believe for the first time ever. So that says a lot about folks who are maybe looking to try to make some money. Maybe they're looking for things for a business venture. There can be lots of reasons why people get involved in investment scams, cryptocurrency scams. So we're going to touch on that a little bit because there's some overlap too with businesses and funding. So we're going to touch on that a little bit. We're going to talk for sure about advance fee loan scams. So again, there's that gray, that fine line between a loan company that is out there, that's a business that maybe isn't operating ethically, and a scammer who just wants to get your money any way they can. Credit repair and debt relief scams made it into the top 10 for the first time. So again, there are people out there helping, claiming to help you, reaching out through various phishing, email, social media ads, offering credit repair with really, again, just trying to get your money and your personal information. So we're going to go through some examples, talk about some red flags, look at just what consumers in our area have been telling us. And we're going to start with one of those cryptocurrency scams. And I picked this one out of several because it mimics things that I hear anecdotally. I know that we're only getting the tip of the iceberg of actual reports to Scam Tracker. Every time I do a talk out in the community, I have folks telling me stories of scams that they've encountered, scams that maybe unfortunately they've lost money in, that for whatever reason they haven't reported to BBB. But in this particular scam, consumer got an email with a PayPal invoice asking about a transaction. Now, immediately the consumer didn't make the transaction. They knew that wasn't their transaction. They knew that they shouldn't get that invoice. So they called. They called the number that was supplied in the email. And that's the first thing we always say when it comes to scams if you get something that comes from a company, maybe you don't do business with them, uh, even if you do business with them, if you have a legitimate PayPal account like this person, don't call the number in that email. If you have a PayPal account, go to your PayPal account, log in, sign in, see if there are these invoices you're being told about, see if there's anything, anything that looks unusual in your actual account. But unfortunately, this person called the number that was in the invoice and got the scammer who said he was working with the government and he was a secret agent and he was trying to stop a Russian hacker, and asked the consumer to get involved with using the Bitcoin app, AnyDesk app, which is an app that lets someone take control of your device, and started having this person move money around. I'm sure telling them to keep it safe, you needed to put it in Bitcoin. That's how you can keep it safe. This is such a popular tactic with scammers. They're getting you to move it out of your account. We're going to keep it safe for you. And unfortunately, this consumer lost over $12,000 in this scam. Scammers are using cryptocurrency a lot because a lot of consumers don't know a lot about it, and because it's quick, easy, hard to trace. Once it's gone, it's gone. So if someone is asking you to get involved, particularly if they're pretending to be someone with the government, that's not going to happen. Someone wants you to help stop the Russian hackers. But if someone starts asking you for payment in cryptocurrency, that's a big red flag that you're involved in a scam or making some sort of transaction to cryptocurrency. That is probably a scam. Don't call the number that's in any unsolicited email or text message. Call the number you know to be true. Log into your PayPal account, your investment account, whatever that happens to be, and don't send money to someone you haven't met face to face. And that's going to play into these next examples. We're going to talk about those advance fee loan scams. This particular consumer, and this was a report from the West Plains area, this consumer was looking to do some debt consolidation. They needed to get a loan, decided to go out and do a broad search on Google looking for a loan company. And scammers know how to work search engine optimization just like a legitimate marketing company does. How to get their results at the top, how to sound convincing so that you'll click on the link. And they were sent a text and a call from someone reporting to be with this alleged loan company, asked them to withdraw $700 for this loan and send it on a Target gift card. So again, big red flag, not going to have to pay anything up front for a loan and then getting paid with a Target gift card. It's another way scammers are getting smart, tricky. I'm not sure what the right word is here, but they're asking consumers to pay with gift cards because, like cash, once you turn over that gift card number and PIN, the money is gone. There's no way to get it back. And the scammer just kept coming back, which is something that they're going to do. If they get money out of you once, they're going to keep coming back to you until you either run out of money or you realize that's a scam. So it's important to remember no company is going to require an advance fee for a loan. If you go to a legitimate bank, if you go to a legitimate credit card company, they're not going to ask you for a payment before they make that loan to you. There may be fees on a loan. There's certainly going to be interest, but fees are taken out of the sum of the loan or charged, rolled into the loan to be repaid with the loan in your installment payments. So if anybody you find, say online, they're asking for money up ahead to release the funds to you because you have that credit for some sort of insurance on your loan, that is a scam. So don't communicate anymore. Don't go any further. Certainly don't give them the money or any of your personal information. And then there are government grant scams. This report is actually here in the Springfield area. I talked to this woman and she was kind of telling me that through a friend of a friend, she got in contact through someone on Facebook. And I say friend of a friend, these are people that she met on Facebook. We'll say friend of a Facebook friend of a friend of a Facebook friend. These are people she had never met in person, but told her about a government grant program. She needed some money to do some debt consolidation, make some repairs to her house. So she reached out through the link that she received through Facebook Messenger. She reached out to the company. And the first question they asked was, had she ever applied for a grant before? Because if someone has gone through the process for an actual government grant, they know that it is a complex process. So he was sort of feeling her out to make sure she didn't know what to expect, and then asked for her phone number, her address, name, and date of birth, and miraculously said she was approved for a $30,000 grant. Even sent her a picture of him putting the money into a shoebox out in front of the bank. So kind of him, that they were going to send that money via FedEx. Asked for a Visa gift card for $500 for shipping and handling. So again, another red flag. Someone is granting you money. You don't have to pay shipping and handling for that. They're not going to send it to you in cash. And they're not going to ask for anything via Visa gift card. Very popular scammers to use those gift cards. So all red flags. Now, unfortunately, at this point, she hadn't picked up on that yet. But then the next day, and another picture of the vehicle pulled over by police. Now he wanted $1,000 on a gift card and taxes. And that's when she knew it was a scam. So again, that escalation. She sent the 500, now they're going to ask for 1,000, and they will continue to ask for that money. So if you have ever applied for a government grant, you know that that is an involved process. They take work. Government grants are not something that you simply give a name, address, a phone number. And again, certainly don't want to be giving information to someone you've never met before, working like that, sending money to someone you've never met in person. I've seen examples of these government grant scams where somebody thinks it's actually a friend, but their friend, like it's a friend that they've known for a long time. They're also connected with that friend on Facebook, but that friend's account has been hacked. So you really don't want to start handing over money or taking advice, even if you think it's somebody you know, through social media. If you are, and grants are not for personal debt consolidation. Grants are not something given to start a business. If you are looking for a grant, maybe to help with a specific project for a business you already have, or maybe nonprofit work that you're involved in, foundation work, you can go to grants.gov for more information. And certainly know you're never going to be asked to pay a fee, to pay money for a free government grant. So some red flags, and then a commonality. And when we do the education, I like to kind of point out these commonalities, and with these scams, and with many of the scams that we see in the top 10, it's being online. Origination, the first contact method is through social media, through an internet search, through an email. That's how scams are getting to people initially. 68% of all scams reported to BBB Scam Tracker, and just over 81% of those scams lost money. So doing those big, broad, general searches on Google for things, connecting with people you don't know online, phishing emails, emails that you don't expect, those are all very, those are things that can lead to scams. Those are the things we want to avoid. Big, broad internet searches, connecting people we don't know on social media, and clicking on anything in an email that we haven't been expecting. And just a little bit more about sort of the percentage of scams with a loss. So social media and websites, 29% and 28% of those had a loss. Susceptibility, getting involved, the likelihood of getting involved in the scam, 80%, almost 78% on a website. So just a little bit more data about why we just really need to be careful with the kind of interactions we're having on social media and on the web. So bbb.org is a great place to find someone reputable to work with. Whether you are looking for a business, whether you're looking for a nonprofit, because we do have information about nonprofits at bbb.org, someone to help you navigate that consolidation, someone to help you with credit repair, any kind of business you're looking for assistance from, bbb.org is a great place to go, because we provide neutral third-party information. And if they're BBB accredited, you know, we've done that extra level of vetting for you. Scam Tracker is another great resource to use. Again, we are dependent on people reporting if they've encountered a scam for our data. So if you haven't encountered a scam like this, please report it. We are not going to share your personal information. You saw those reports, the 3 different scams, those came from Scam Tracker. For the person reporting the scam, we share the zip code. So that way you can see what is going on in your community, but your information is private when you report that scam. You can also use Scam Tracker if you're not sure if you're being scammed. You can look up the name of a business. You can look up a phone number, a web address, an email address, and see what other consumers have said. There's also a prevention guide. There's some great tools that you can use. There's some quizzes to see if you can spot a scam, and a recovery kit. So some steps that you can take if unfortunately you have become involved in a scam, some things that might be helpful to you. So I just, when you have a moment, go look at Scam Tracker. There are a lot of great resources out there. And if you're just interested, again, you can always look by keyword or in your zip code even to see what's happening in your community. And I want to go ahead and we'll go ahead and kind of open things up to questions. But on this slide, just a lot of information and resources. I'm always available as a resource. And I say that knowing that sometimes I'm on webinars like this, and sometimes I'm on the road. I'm on the road a lot. So if you're not able to reach me and it's an urgent question, that 314 number goes to our team in St. Louis. They're always there to help you. Someone can answer that question about a business. They can help you with a Scam Tracker report if you need that assistance. So sometimes that's a little bit easier to get somebody on that first call than it is me, but I'm happy to assist. Annualcreditreport.com. If you don't want to go online to get your credit report, you can call and get assistance and get it that way. And if you have been involved in a scam and you're worried about identity theft, I highly recommend going to identitytheft.gov, where the Federal Trade Commission has a lot of resources to help you put together sort of a step-by-step plan on how to address that, what you need to do. So with that, we have got plenty of time for questions.
I just want to say thank you for presenting this. It's very, very critical information to your financial wealth and health. And the scams are out there. We've ran into some predatory lending when we've done or went through credit reports. A lot of times it's too late at that point for us to be of too much assistance. So it's really critical for people to know the information ahead of time. And so we thank you for being here today. And we did have one chat come in. Oh, our director said, thank you, Pamela.
And you're welcome. And thank you. I appreciate this opportunity to share, because you're right. Prevention is the best strategy. Getting this information out so people don't end up on the other side, where sometimes there's just not a lot you can do. And that's a hard lesson to learn. So the more we can share this information, the more we can get this out there and be preventative, the better everybody's going to be in the long run.
Yes, absolutely. And that's why I'm going to advertise our credit building workshop in Springfield.
Yeah.
Come check us out. We have partnered with SCORE, Justine Peterson. Well, actually it's Borealis Consulting now, because she works with both Justine Peterson and another lender there in Springfield. So she will be talking on consolidating loans for businesses, and then we'll be doing our credit repair workshop or credit building workshop. Sorry, should not use the word repair. And we also can help you guys watch out for those credit repair companies that can be predatory. And so come check us out, have some food with us, and it'll be a fun event. That's in June and it's on our website. So we look forward to seeing everyone there and hope that Pamela can join us that day. She can answer questions as well, it sounds like. And we just thank you for being here today, Pamela.
Well, thank you. And I am looking forward to the workshop. I'm not sure if I'll be able to be there, but I am also a SCORE volunteer, and I know SCORE is involved. So if I can, I will, and hope everybody else is too.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, and we will see you in the future, hopefully.
Thank you. Yes, hopefully. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.